whole conversation has a slightly old-fashioned tone to it. We live in a world in which, other than residential property, which for reasons I think planning control rather than anything else, also see very high value. I mean, we don't live in a world in which wealth really comes from owning large tracts of land. Wealth comes from all sorts of other things in the modern world, and I sort of wonder whether the whole debate about the reallocation of large tracts of land on the basis of wrongs that might have been done to it.
There's still, at the peak of the market, £4.5 trillion worth of residential property wealth in this country, of which probably 50% is the land value rather than the capital value.
Yes, but
so I mean, it's a significant chunk of, but I mean, it's inflated by all sorts of odd.
The market will monitor that in the first year. I mean, all of these things are monitored, and the market will monitor and reallocate that in the first year. It's not like all these subsidies that the state gives to these Tesco's and so on. It's so superficial. It's a thing that will vanish overnight. Like housing benefits, it's like the man who can't boil an egg because he's been married to the same woman for 35 years and she's died. Yeah, all right. How long does it take him to boil the egg? Is it 10 minutes or is it 15 minutes? That's what the problems we're talking about.
You get bouncy ones at 15 minutes. No, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, that's what my, if you like, my sort of central message was, that around the place we do seem to have these tremendous fights, imagining libertarian left and libertarian right as some kind of irreconcilables. And actually, I think that there is there may be nuanced differences in means, but actually, in terms of ends, we probably both want to achieve the same sort of thing as well.
I don't think libertarianism has any enemies anyway. You know, I mean, it has. Well, there are people who stand for the state, but the state is, from a libertarian point of view, just ignoramuses who have yet to learn the liberal creed. That's the Enlightenment form of libertarianism.
It's still an argument that seems to generate an awful lot of heat and not very much light.
Well, there are a lot of romantics who really think, dare I say, Brian Micklethwaite is the key one in local circles, who really think that these differences really matter. You know, so like some sort of.
Funnily enough, it is that crowd.
Solid. Yeah. You know, there's some solid, like Plato's Noble Life. The difference between gold and bronze and silver is that they're completely different. The Enlightenment view, which is basically the libertarian view, is that ignorance is superficial. The stacks of it. The good news is it's superficial. The bad news is there's the stacks of it. Is there any more questions?
But I mean, more than that, that it's also, as I say, it creates a language of libertarianism that could be quite attractive to an awful lot of people who think that we're all right-wing nuts.
Yeah, well, the very left-wing and right-wing thing is a bit is a bit of romance in itself. I mean, I do think they've got it wrong, as I keep pointing out. I do think that the libertarian idea was the pristine left-wing idea. But I don't want to push that too much. You know, the difference between the person who stands for protectionism and the person who stands for free trade is one of knowledge, and that is, you know, as I say, all ignorance is superficial.
Yeah.
So it's not a tribalist thing. I mean, it's big conflicts and down the road. My Prime Minister used to always say the Libertarian Alliance is an alliance between statists and anarchists. And down the road, there's going to be a big battle. You know, well, the reality is that some people think that start off as anarchists and think there's a need for the state, and they don't even have to leave the LA. And the reverse. Some people start out thinking we absolutely need the state, but we no longer need one. And again, they don't have to leave the LA. You know, some people don't even know they've changed their minds. They haven't even told other people that they've changed their minds. That's how much of a difference there is here. So, you know, there is no room in knowledge for differences. It must be a superficial thing.
Yes, I think I follow you.
Is there any more questions? I think I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have I discouraged the questions? I probably have. I apologise for being a bad chairman. But anyway, I suppose this is the end of the meeting. Can we give a round of applause for our? very good feedback. Thank you.